Bahama CEO holding back no punches. He talks about the status of the resort and issues they're facing with the government. Meantime, Prime Minister Christie also having a few words on the matter. I'm Clint Watson. The story's ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Plus, hear what some lawmakers have to say about capital punishment.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a new Progressive Liberal Party senator appointed. Find out her plans for the Senate.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Charisma Robinson.
Well, topping the news tonight, the call for capital punishment in the Bahamas was renewed by the Member of Parliament for Tall Pines in Parliament this morning as debate continued on the jury's amendment bill and the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill.
Miller's son was killed in 2002, and he says he joins hundreds of Bahamians negatively impacted by crime. He cautioned his parliamentary colleagues that if something is not done about the vexing crime situation, the Bahamian people will decide. Janine Noel Ferguson reports.
When you see those polls close at 6 p.m., you have a rude awakening. If we refuse to act on behalf of those persons who gave us the privilege, Mr. Speaker, of coming into these parliament on their behalf.
In a passionate contribution, Tall Pines MP and BEC Chairman Leslie Miller lamented that the government must do more to combat the rising crime problem that has wreaked havoc on communities, particularly in New Providence. The first step, he suggested, is executing the law on capital punishment, which has been sidestepped as a result of a Privy Council ruling.
Someone decide to take a life, there have to be repercussions. Jail cannot be the answer because no one is going to bring that person back, Mr. Speaker. Only God is going to do that. When others overseas, thousands of miles away from our shores, can have the last say in our affairs, Mr. Speaker, it is time for that to stop.
Mr. Miller referenced the recent murder of a 88-year-old man in Long Island, calling for the carnage to stop.
The state has an obligation, Mr. Speaker, in my opinion, to do what is necessary to combat this evil that is among us, Mr. Speaker. This cancer that is taking out the guts of the Bahamian people, Mr. Speaker.
Sharing similar views was East Grand Bahama MP Nico Grant. He shared his concerns on the jury amendment bill.
Crime is crippling our country. Crime has never been a political problem. It should have never been taunted as an FNM or former Minister of National Security problem. The State Minister for Legal Affairs is quoted as saying, among the sectors contributing to the slow trying of cases are the numerous incidents of jury tampering, including attempts to intimidate jurors. What do you think, Mr. Speaker, would happen to jurors who are known to everyone in the Family Island community?
MP for Golden Isles Michael Halkitis, in his contribution, acknowledged the concerns about crime in the country. He agreed that the level of crime is unacceptable.
The level, I believe, is a reflection of the development or lack of development or the changes in the attitudes and the norms of what is considered normal behavior among some quarters, Mr. Speaker.
Despite the challenges, Halkitis says the government is constantly upgrading resources in an attempt to stomp out crime. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
While many may shy away from jury duty or use some excuse to get out of it, the proposed amendments to the Juries Act and the Parliamentary Elections Act seek to expand the jury pool in an effort to shore up the judicial system. State Minister for Finance, the Honorable Michael Halkitis, explains how the two are connected.
The amendments, Mr. Speaker, indicate that this information shall only be used for the purpose of assisting the Registrar of the Supreme Court in carrying out his functions under the Juries Act. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the Juries Amendment empowers the Commissioner to to use electronic means to impanel a jury. So whilst I imagine we might still have the use of numbered balls being placed in a box and drawn, this also enables the use of computers to use electronic methods to impanel a jury.
The Free National Movement mounted another protest outside the House of Assembly today, calling once again for the resignation of Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources V. Alfred Gray. Now, ZNS News attempted to speak with the opposition leader, Dr. Hubert Minnis, on this matter, but he refused, stating that he didn't wish to talk to ZNS unless it was in a live broadcast. The opposition's call for Mr. Gray's resignation stems from allegations of judicial interference involving a matter emanating out of Mayor Mr. Gray's constituency. The matter is being investigated by police. Well, it was back in March that a position became vacant for government in the Senate, and Robin Dawn Lyons agreed to fill that post. Today, she was presented with her instruments of appointment by Her Excellency, the Governor General, Dame Marguerite Pindling.
Jimena Swain was at Government House and tells us that Lyons thanked her mother for the sacrifices made to help her to achieve success. She also made it clear that she's ready to bring change and serve.
The newest senator is Robin Dawn Lyons, a local minister and attorney at law. Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pindling presented Lyons with her instruments of appointment during her swearing-in ceremony at Government House on Wednesday. Prime Minister Perry Christie counts it a stellar day as the 32-year-old formally enters public life.
We welcome you into our midst. We believe in doing so that you are going to be an exceptional contributor to the affairs of state in this country, because you live amongst the people. One doesn't have to get you to read about humble beginnings. Yours was a humble beginning.
Mr. Christie suggested to Lyons that she may elect to enter frontline politics as other female colleagues have.
You may decide, like the Honorable Melanie Griffin and Dennis Hannah Martin, Hope Strawn, to contest a seat in the House of Assembly. All of that is before you. The one point I make to you is that the Bahamas is yours. Your generation must take hold of the Bahamas. And as you said, work for change.
Acknowledging her humble beginnings, Lyons admitted that she wrestled with the decision to enter public life and accepts that service has nothing to do with self. She said she intends to remain humble and serve with integrity.
In my appointment to the Senate, my only concern is fighting with change, not against it. As long as it's positive, as long as it is sincere, as long as it is godly. Because the Bahamian dream is very much alive. And the Bahamian dream suggests that you can be a child growing up in urban and rural Bahamas, and you can have a mother that fights for you and works for you, and you can go to law school, and you can do well, and you can come back to your country and work and strive.
Hard work and a willingness to serve are what Senator Lyons says she plans to bring to the Senate. She replaces former Senator Cheryl Bazard. Jimena Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, still ahead tonight, firefighters battled a blaze yesterday evening in downtown Nassau.
And a corporate citizen partnering with the police to help a family.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Lettuce, designed for extra miles.